Madeline Williams's head lolled against hard wooden planks as she blinked awake. Bang, bang, bang. Blurred browns, yellows, and grays gelled into familiar shapes. Stall door, clean straw, water trough. She took a quick breath of the dry, musty air that surrounded her, trying to will her mind to connect all the pieces, make sense of the chaotic sounds and images pinging at her. A cow's loud call rang out from the adjacent stall, drawing her back to the here and now. Startled, Madeline clenched her rough denim shorts, the hems frayed by the slice of scissors. Through a mental fog, her mind blanked, then remembered. His voice, low, heavy, his breath sickly sweet from the plug of skull, his hands insistent and unyielding. Shaking, she pulled her cut-offs into place as she surveyed the dusty stall. He was gone. Relief choked her as she drew her knees to her chest, rocking, part tremble, part a silenced reach for solace. She curled tight into a ball until slowly, gently, a cocooning blankness descended, boxing the stark terror away and leaving an odd clarity of thought in its absence. A long, plaintive moo split the air, followed by an answering call echoing some distance away. Must have separated Mama and baby for sale. With a curious detachment, Madeline turned into the boards as they vibrated under the cow's hooves, accompanied by another long, mournful moo in reply. Poor things. I hope they at least go to the same buyer. "Donnie," a loud, unfamiliar drawl commanded, "get that cow under control before she tears the place down." Madeline jerked. She was in the stall next to that cow, wasn't she? Scrambling to her feet, she slipped unnoticed out of the pen and into the bright hallway, where a harried cowgirl tugged a bouncing 4-year-old toward the women's bathroom. Madeline ducked her head and brushed by them, heading for the cattle auction's main building. How long was I gone? Where is John David? "Lot 28. The cry burst clear and raucous through the arena entry up ahead, bouncing off the walls. A cowboy glanced left, right, then, locating the men's room, tipped his hat to her and hurried on his way. Madeline sagged against the cold cinder blocks, dodging the man's gaze. She'd left for popcorn at Lot 13. She had to get back before the gavel fell on this one. Dad would be worried. She took in a deep breath, desperate to steady the tremors, but a whimper escaped her lips. John David knew everyone in there in some way or another. What if he was already bragging about his conquest? Skin crawling, she buried her face in her hands. There was no choice but to go in. Madeline tried another deep breath, and this time shoved the fear and humiliation to the back of her mind. When she reached the door of the arena, she paused and squared her shoulders. She'd survived Mom's death 10 years ago. She could survive this. Madeline pushed open the door and stepped through. "Sold to bidder 25, the auctioneer cried. The crowd turned to discover the winner's identity, affording her the briefest moment of incognito as she fled to the comfort of Dad's presence. The creepy feeling along her skin told her John David was near the cattle entrance, but her eyes darted around the arena anyway, finding him standing just outside the gates. His hand rested on one of the bars, poised to jump the fence to help the wranglers. She could feel his eyes track her to the seat next to Dad. Hunching her shoulders, she curled inward, hoping somehow to hide from his penetrating gaze. Dad looked up from his sales notes as she settled beside him. "The steers'll be up soon." Brow wrinkled, his navy eyes studied her. Madeline's chest tightened. Can he tell? "Where's your popcorn?" She stifled a ragged sigh and lied. "They ran out." He nodded. A few minutes later, their lot number was called, and the cowhands herded their steers into the arena,